At first light, the river looks generous. Silver bodies move beneath the surface in numbers too large to count. Yet the people standing in the freezing shallows return again and again with empty hands. A spear enters the water, but the fish is already gone. A second strike glances off a stone. By the time the hunters adjust, the school has vanished into deeper water. Hunger makes every movement urgent. The group has eaten little since the previous day, and the cold current steals strength from their legs. Fish are everywhere, but everywhere is not the same as within reach. Then, as the tide begins to fall, one child-sized figure notices a flash behind a low line of stones near the bank. A single fish is trapped in a shrinking pool. No spear drove it there. No hand chased it. The water itself carried it over the stones, and the falling tide left it behind. The discovery is small, almost accidental, but it raises a question that may be far more important than the fish. Could the river be made to hunt? This story takes place in a reconstructed coastal estuary near the end of the last ice age and the beginning of the Holocene. Sea levels are changing. New wetlands form where rivers meet the ocean. Tides flood narrow channels, then withdraw across mud, stone, and reed beds. For people who understand these rhythms, the landscape is not random. It is a moving map. The group knows how to gather shellfish, dig for roots, track animals, and strike fish with sharpened wooden spears. They also know that success is never guaranteed. A moving fish is difficult to hit. Water bends light, hides distance, and turns a clear target into an illusion. Standing in cold water for too long can be as dangerous as returning without food. Still, the fish follow patterns. They avoid sudden shadows. They search for openings around obstacles. In a strong current, they enter quieter channels. When the tide rises, some move across ground that will later become dry. These details have been seen many times, but seeing a pattern is not the same as building a tool from it. We cannot know who first imagined a fish trap or where the idea began. Organic traps made from reeds, bark fiber, or thin branches often decay without leaving a trace. Archaeology preserves only fragments of a much larger history. What survives, however, shows that ancient communities in different regions built stone weirs, wooden barriers, woven funnels, and holding enclosures. This reconstruction imagines one possible path from observation to invention. The observer points toward the stranded fish. Others study the stones, the direction of the current, and the wet marks left by the higher tide. One person sees a lucky accident. Another sees a repeatable event. Between those two ideas lies the beginning of technology. The first attempt is simple. The group carries river stones into a shallow channel and builds a low wall across it. The plan seems obvious. Block the fish, then collect them. But the river does not cooperate. Water pushes directly against the stones. Gaps open. The current grows faster around the edges, and the fish escape through the very paths the builders have created. The wall fails before the tide has fully turned. Several stones roll away. A drifting branch strikes the center, and part of the structure collapses. The skeptical member of the group points toward the deeper channel, where fish can still be taken one at a time. The argument is practical. A spear sometimes fails, but the stone wall has consumed hours and produced nothing. Yet the failure has revealed something. Fish did not simply scatter in every direction. Many followed the faster water around the broken edges. The group begins again, not with a wall, but with two lines of stone angled toward each other. From above, the shape resembles a wide V. Instead of stopping the current, it narrows the choices available to the fish. When water rises, the new structure disappears beneath the surface. Fish pass over the low stones and move toward the center. For a moment, the idea appears to work. But as the tide changes, the fish turn and leave through the same opening. The stones guide them inward, but nothing keeps them there. The person skilled in plant materials cuts flexible shoots and gathers reeds. Thin branches are bent between wooden stakes to form open panels. The weave cannot be solid. If it blocks too much water, pressure may tear it apart, and fish may avoid the disturbance. The spaces must allow the current to pass, while preventing larger fish from slipping through. This kind of work requires more than strength. It requires choosing wood that can bend without breaking, making cordage from bark or plant fiber, placing stakes where the riverbed can hold them, and predicting how the structure will behave after it disappears beneath the tide. Archaeological fish traps show evidence of such planning. But the conversations, disagreements, and failed versions are lost to time. The group adds woven sections to the stone arms and leaves a narrow entrance at the center. The opening leads into a calmer enclosure. Once again, the water rises. Once again, the trap vanishes. The people can no longer see what is happening below. They must wait for the river to reveal the result. Night brings rain. The current strengthens, and every sound from the estuary suggests that the structure may be breaking apart. At dawn, the group returns before the tide has fully fallen. One stake leans. A section of weaving has torn loose. The enclosure is still standing, but the entrance is too wide. A few fish circle inside, then find their way out. The trap has not failed completely. It has shown the exact place where the design is weak. The builders narrow the entrance and angle short woven panels inward, forming a funnel. A fish following the current can pass through the opening. Once inside, turning back requires finding a small gap against the direction of movement. The trap does not make escape impossible. It makes escape less likely. The group also lowers part of the stone wall. This seems wrong at first. A higher wall should hold more fish. But the purpose is not to create a dry barrier. At high tide, fish must be able to cross into the enclosure. At low tide, enough water must remain to keep them alive until the people return. The best trap is not the strongest wall. It is the structure most closely matched to the tide. Before the next rise, everyone works. Some carry stone. Some drive stakes with heavy wooden clubs. Others weave, tie, test gaps with their hands, and clear debris from the entrance. No single action creates the trap. It exists only because many kinds of knowledge are combined in the correct place at the correct time. The tide returns and covers the last row of stones. Fish enter the estuary with the moving water. From below, the trap may not look like a trap at all. It is a sequence of openings, shadows, and currents that gradually direct movement toward the center. The people wait on higher ground, unable to intervene. Hours later, the water begins to retreat. At first, the enclosure looks empty. The skeptical builder turns away. Then, one fin cuts the surface. Another appears near the reeds. Circles spread across the shallow pool. As the tide falls farther, silver bodies flash between the woven panels. The group runs into the remaining water. Some fish still find the entrance and escape. Others press against the sides. Baskets are lowered. Spears are used at close range. Hands work quickly, but not wildly. The trap has changed the contest. The people are no longer chasing fish through an open river. They are collecting them from a space they designed. A large catch creates a new problem. Fish spoil quickly. Some are cooked immediately over hot stones. Others are split, cleaned, and placed near smoke and moving air. The trap has produced more food, but it also demands new decisions about labor, sharing, storage, and protection from scavengers. The structure must be repaired after every strong tide. Reeds loosen, stakes rot, stones shift. Debris blocks the entrance. A fish trap is not a finished object. It is a continuing relationship with a changing place. Its success depends on returning, watching, and adjusting. Over time, a reliable fishing location may influence where people gather during certain seasons. It may support larger meetings, longer stays, or exchanges with neighboring groups. It may allow knowledge to be taught through demonstration: where to place the arms, how wide to make the gaps, when to arrive, and when to leave enough fish for later movement. We should be cautious. One trap did not transform all human societies, and fishing technology did not develop along a single path. Spears, hooks, nets, baskets, traps, and shoreline gathering could exist together. Different environments encouraged different solutions. Some communities built with stone. Others relied on wood, brush, reeds, or combinations that have not survived archaeologically. Even so, the principle behind the trap is profound. Instead of applying more force, people studied a natural system and redirected a small part of it. The current supplied energy. The tide controlled timing. Fish behavior completed the final step. Human intelligence connected these elements into a working design. This is one of the foundations of technology. Not merely making an object, but arranging relationships. Stone must meet water at the correct angle. Wood must flex but remain anchored. Openings must be large enough to invite movement and small enough to delay escape. People must arrive before the catch is lost. Knowledge becomes useful only when every part works with the others. The lesson reaches beyond fishing. Later technologies would also depend on channels, gates, funnels, storage spaces, seasonal calendars, and cooperative labor. The fish trap belongs to that larger history of learning how to predict change and prepare before need becomes crisis. When the group first saw a fish stranded behind natural stones, they could have taken the meal and forgotten the event. Instead, they asked why it had happened. That question turned an accident into an experiment, and an experiment into a tool. Archaeological evidence cannot identify the first person who built such a trap. The earliest structure may have vanished long before the oldest example we have found. The idea may have appeared independently in many river valleys, estuaries, and coastlines. What the evidence does reveal is that prehistoric people possessed detailed ecological knowledge and the ability to build systems that worked across hours, seasons, and generations. The river was never conquered. It remained unpredictable, powerful, and capable of destroying the trap in a single storm. Success came from understanding enough of its movement to cooperate with it. The people changed the water only slightly, but that small change altered what was possible. And the story did not end when the fish were caught. A larger harvest created the next challenge. How could food be kept for days instead of hours? How could it be dried, smoked, protected, and carried? Every solution opened another question, and every question pushed human knowledge farther. The first fish trap may never be found, but somewhere in the deep past, people looked at flowing water and saw more than an obstacle. They saw a pattern, then a possibility. Before the river could feed them, they first had to learn how to read it.